In a distant future, the galaxy is governed by fragile alliances between planets bound by a peace treaty known as the Accord of Stars. The luxury starship Serenity is commissioned as the crown jewel of diplomacy, designed to host ambassadors and leaders in neutral territory. But as the maiden voyage begins, whispers of rebellion grow louder across the outer colonies. The ship is not just a vessel, it's a symbol of hope and unity. Among the passengers is Princess Leora, daughter of the High Regent, secretly traveling incognito. Unknown to all, she will soon become the Empress of Serenity. The voyage starts with grandeur. Galaxies reflected in panoramic windows, alien choirs singing, and leaders shaking hands. Captain Draven, a stoic war veteran, commands the Serenity with absolute precision. Leora befriends a young engineer, Cade, who dreams of freedom from political chains. Tensions arise when a faction of delegates refuse to dine together, citing old grudges. The political divisions feel subtle at first, but hint at dangerous undercurrents. Peace feels like it's being staged on borrowed time. Mid-journey, a chilling message interrupts the celebrations. An extremist group known as the Iron Dominion has declared war. Their leader, Lord Vanar, believes the Accord is a betrayal of sovereignty and strength. The Serenity becomes the perfect target. Strike it, and peace crumbles. Captain Draven increases security, but infiltration fears spread like wildfire. Leora notices Cade acting suspiciously near restricted areas. She starts to wonder, is he more than he claims? The ship suddenly drops out of hyperspace. Systems flicker, alarms blare. The navigation matrix has been sabotaged. They find themselves stranded near the deadly Maelstrom Nebula. Unknown to the passengers, enemy ships are lurking just beyond the nebula storm. The first skirmish erupts when pirate mercenaries, secretly allied with the Iron Dominion, ambush. The luxury liner transforms into a battlefield overnight. Leora, trapped in a diplomatic hall during the attack, rallies frightened delegates. Her leadership shines through instinct rather than title. Captain Draven notices her courage and begins to suspect her true identity. Meanwhile, Cade reveals he is an undercover operative sent to protect her. He admits the sabotage was an inside job by Dominion infiltrators. Now, trust becomes the rarest currency aboard Serenity. The crew searches for the infiltrator among the passengers. Diplomats accuse each other, decades of resentment boiling over. An alien senator is discovered transmitting coded messages to Dominion ships. The traitor kills himself before revealing the full plan. But his data logs hint at something larger. Vanar intends to board the Serenity himself. The ship braces for its darkest hour. During a tense council, Leora finally reveals her identity as heir to the High Regent. Some bow in respect, others see her as a political pawn to exploit. Draven pledges his loyalty to her, though his military past makes others suspicious. The Dominion launches another wave of attacks, battering the ship's defenses. Cade and Leora work together to reroute power from luxury decks to shield. It's the first step of turning a palace of peace into a fortress of survival. Amid chaos, Leora delivers a stirring speech over the ship's intercom. She declares that Serenity will not fall, not as a ship, not as an ideal. Her words ignite a rare unity among alien delegates who once despised one another. Diplomats begin working side by side, patching systems and aiding crew. The Serenity becomes more than a starship, it becomes a beacon. But Lord Vanar is not finished. He personally enters the battlefield. The Dominion Warlord's flagship emerges from the nebula, dwarfing the Serenity. Its weapons glow like molten suns, ready to obliterate the vessel. Draven devises a desperate maneuver, using the nebula storms as cover. But the move requires manual piloting into chaos. Cade volunteers, revealing hidden piloting expertise. Leora insists on joining him despite Draven's protests. The storm tests them all. Ion lightning slams against the hull, tearing apart weaker ships. Cade wrestles the controls while Leora stabilizes the navigation feed. Outside, Dominion fighters swarm, but diplomats turned gunners fight back bravely. For the first time, enemies from across the galaxy stand united against a common foe. The Serenity emerges from the storm battered but alive. Yet Vanar's flagship still looms untouched. Leora proposes a daring plan. Use Serenity's diplomatic core as a weapon. The core, designed to power peace treaties with resonance fields, can destabilize Vanar's flagship if reversed. Draven calls it suicide, but Cade agrees it may be their only chance. Delegates argue, torn between survival and sacrifice. Finally, the ship votes unanimously to fight. Peace can no longer be defended with words alone. The crew prepares the core for overload. Leora takes command, her regal presence uniting all factions. Cade risks his life in the engine room to align the systems. Dominion troops breach the lower decks, leading to brutal close-quarters combat. Draven leads soldiers against the invaders, his past as a warrior resurfacing. The Serenity shakes, bleeding sparks, and fire. Leora confronts Lord Vanar in a tense transmission. He mocks her as a child clinging to peace, but she stands firm, declaring herself not just a princess, but the Empress of Serenity. Her defiance enrages him, and he orders his fleet to annihilate the ship. Meanwhile, Cade barely survives an explosion in the engine bay. Time is running out. The core is unstable. Draven and his fighters repel the last of the Dominion boarders, but the cost is heavy. Half the security forces are dead. Vanar's flagship closes in, charging its doomsday cannon. Leora refuses to retreat, even when urged to escape in the lifeboats. She insists that if Serenity falls, so does the galaxy's hope. Her resolve turns fear into courage among the crew. With the core primed, Serenity charges headlong into the enemy fleet. Vanar's flagship unleashes its devastating cannon, but Serenity's shields barely hold. Cade, injured, struggles to complete the final sequence. Leora stays by his side, refusing to abandon him. At the last moment, the resonance field ignites, unleashing a blinding wave. Vanar's flagship begins to crack apart from within. The explosion ripples through the Dominion fleet, scattering ships into chaos. But Serenity itself is critically damaged, drifting toward the nebula. Cade collapses, his injuries severe. Draven takes the bridge, steering the burning ship away from the storm. Leora clutches Cade's hand, whispering that their struggle is not in vain. Outside, Dominion forces retreat into Serai. As silence falls, the surviving delegates emerge from hiding. Many are wounded but alive and united by the battle they fought together. They hail Leora not as a princess but as Empress, chosen not by bloodline but by action. Her bravery turned enemies into allies, fear into unity. The Accord of Stars is reborn in fire stronger than ever. But shadows remain, for the Dominion still survives in fragments. The Serenity, once a vessel of luxury, now drifts as a scarred symbol of sacrifice. Engineers patch its wounds, determined to rebuild it as a permanent peace fortress. Leora, now Empress, pledges to lead not from a throne but from the stars. Draven becomes her protector to steel her spirit. Cade awakens in the infirmary, humbled by her loyalty. Together, they vow the galaxy will never fall to tyranny again. In a closing scene, survivors gather in the Grand Hall, once a ballroom, now a place of remembrance. Each fallen soldier's name is inscribed into the ship's walls. Aliens and humans alike bow before Leora, recognizing her as the one who carried them through darkness. She reminds them that peace is never given. It is fought for every day. As she speaks, the stars beyond glimmer like silent witnesses. The Serenity begins its journey once more. Post-credit tease, in a distant asteroid belt, a Dominion officer kneels before a shadowy figure. This new figure lifts his head, revealing piercing eyes filled with cold ambition. The Dominion was not destroyed, it was merely scattered. A darker force prepares to rise, one far greater than Vanar ever was. The galaxy's peace hangs by a thread once again. The legend of the Empress of Serenity has only just begun.